Welcome back to the Women Think Bigger channel. If you're new, I'm so glad to have you in this space today. As you know, Women Think Bigger is all about helping you in your business with intuitive guidance as a complement of your own business strategy. So today we have a very I would say very energizing, uplifting topic, which is going to be what makes your brand memorable? What makes your business unique? What do people remember about your brand? So it's just meant to give you, a lot of positive energy and motivation as well. So we have three groups that you can choose from today. We have the first group with the rose quartz, the second group with amethyst, and the third group with this carnelian heart. So take some time to tune into your intuition and just feel which group seems right, and then I'll see you in your dedicated pile. Welcome, group one, if you have chosen the rose quartz for today's reading. And the topic is all going to be about what makes your brand memorable. So, what stands out in your business? What makes people attracted to your business? So, this is meant to be a very energizing, motivating, and uplifting reading. So let's see what comes up for you. As usual, I always keep this card as a final complimentary message. And we're going to grab two cards today. One to see what is the overall energy of the business, what makes it so memorable for people. And then we're also going to ask for guidance from the cards to see how you can really lean even more into those strengths. Okay. So as we have this card for the overall energy, this card for the guidance. Also gonna grab from another deck. So what makes your brand memorable, group one? Okay, and then what is the guidance to really amplify, let's say, this quality about your brand? There are too many. Let's just take this one. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm getting with this rose quartz that it has to do with how it makes people feel very seen and validated. Because you're very, I don't know, I think the brand has a very gentle and heart-based, kind of like brand voice or tone. I'm getting also the word, safe. So it's like your brand, yeah, it gives a feeling of home, like of gentleness and very warm energy and very grounded as well, like it's kind of like grounded to the point, it's, I don't know, it has something that makes people feel seen and feel home. I don't think it's a marketing tone that it's kind of too bold or too cold or something like that. I think it's very heart based. So let's see what makes it memorable for your audience. So we have focusing on the big picture, and we have it more pink here. With the eyes here, again, it makes me feel like, again, you make people feel seen. Like, the bigger pictures, the thing that people navigate, it's like you can shine a light on it and direct your focus on that. So I would say your marketing is very on point when it comes to the audience's pain points, what they really need. I think it's a strength. I think you really know what people are going through and what would help them. So I don't know if you have a product-based business or a service-based business, but there is something that you really have like kind of nailed in terms of what does the audience need, and what would make them feel good. It's like you can really see through, yeah, their kind of difficulties or challenges, things like that. It also, again, makes me think with the rose quartz that you probably are very empathic, or at least you have this ability to make people feel seen. And this is something that is reflected in your branding. And yeah, it's like you really use, I'm getting also that you really use the right words to describe your audience's challenges. Like, you're not just doing surface level marketing, you're really using words that they would use on a daily basis, or, it feels personal when you talk about how your offers is solving problems. It's like people really can see themselves in that. So I think it's a very, very good thing that, in terms of marketing, like one of your strength is that you know what the audience needs, and that's also why people remember your brand. It's because um yeah, the words you use and the way you use it is very on point. It makes people feel seen and validated. I'm also getting that with the words, like the way you write your emails or the copy, I think you kind of infuse a lot of your personal touch or personal story into it. And there is something about people really noticing that as well. So if so far you're not using, too much AI or someone else to do your copywriting, I think it's a sign to keep on doing it yourself, because there is something special about the way you say things that makes the brand memorable. Let's see what else we have. Heal the healer. Soul's truth. Yeah, there is something very healing about your brand as well. A lot of green, a lot of heart chakra, but it's like, with this word, soul truth, I feel it's like you see so much through people's life that it feels like you speak to their soul in some way. Like, and it's very healing. Very healing to be seen in that way. Um, and we have two bees here. So, bees, they kind of cross pollinate. Mm, they also create, honey. So I think the metaphor is saying like there's something about your brand that creates pure joy for people. And that is also healing as well. So not only what you're creating is really healing, but also the way you say it, it makes people really feel seen. And it makes people think, it's not just another brand. Like there's something special about the way you communicate that makes it memorable. I'm also getting that maybe, with the sweetness, the honey, there is something about your brand that is also reflecting a lifestyle, maybe, or an ideal environment, or something that makes people also aspire to that, with the eagle here. I think it's an eagle, or no, it's maybe not a falcon. I don't know. But this expression when we say beacon of light. Um, so I feel your brand is not just a product or a service. It has to do as well with having a certain lifestyle, and I'm getting this energy of enjoying life, not necessarily the slow life, but something that, in terms of value of the brand, it's also something that people are attracted to beyond your product. It's like the lifestyle that you're promoting as well with the brand, or the values that the brand is carrying, which is, I feel it has to do with maybe beauty, presence, aesthetics, or maybe it could also have to do with inner work with the emerald, like improving something in their lives. I don't know if it's the mindset or things like that, but it's also because beyond, the brand has values that people aspire to, whether it's a lifestyle or just a way of thinking. Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it. Like, there's also a way of thinking that people um, love in your brand and makes it memorable. Let's see what else can we get as a guidance for you. Quantum jump. Wow, beautiful card. I feel this card is a confirmation that two things. One, you as the founder, what you're creating right now, the brand, is kind of, the results of years of personal development, inner work, and really get rooted and connected to what is true to you, what makes you happy. So you kind of done your own quantum jump. And also with this card, I'm getting again this energy of the brand is inspiring for people, It's memorable because not only the way you say things is very grounded, very, let's say, realistic for people. It makes people feel seen, make it feel at home, but also it makes them aspire to a certain life, certain way of thinking. Like, it's like the brand somehow helps them to, yeah, maybe quantum jump to their next timeline. If, for example, you're a coach or things like that, like, it's kind of helping them in some way getting to their next level, whether, it's directly with coaching or just indirectly with, I don't know, let's say you create shoes and it makes women feel so confident, and then they feel empowered and they love the values of the brand. And there's something about your brand helping them get to their next level in their life in some way. And you're also doing it with such a gentle uh marketing and way of communicating, that it also feels very home. I'm getting community where it kind of feels a bit like family, or at least it feels like, okay, um wait, I'm also getting something else just before I forget. With the truth, I feel like what you say in terms of your marketing, so we've already said that not only you say it with intention, with the right words, but there is something about transparency as well. Like, you are very vulnerable, I think, as well in your communication, when sometimes you talk about personal stories with soul truth. And this is why people feel at home, is because you don't say just, oh, I went through challenges. You really describe how it felt, and how you even felt maybe, the difficulties. Like, there's something about being transparent and vulnerable that makes people identify themselves with your story, with the brand. And it's helping them also lean more into this sweetness of life and aspiring to maybe a different lifestyle, way of thinking. Like, it's connecting them to their values as well. I think this is also one of the message of this guidance, is like, you help people, it's like you embody their values as well. So the brand feels memorable because not only you help them, but it also really helps them to connect with their own values, reinforce them, and yeah, there's something uplifting about the energy as well. Let's see what we have as well as a guidance here. Druid. Perception versus reality. Tree keeper. It's very hard base. I'm getting that this is kind of your energy and just people are very drawn to it. So I think really the brand already stands out. It's already memorable. And with this rewild, I'm getting something about the roots, when it's like when you go home, it's like you feel, you go back to the roots. And I feel your brand makes people go home in some way in terms of, oh, that person also thinks like me, or that person also has this lifestyle. Like, and with the perception versus reality, it's maybe maybe this is something that you don't see about your brand. Maybe you're very focused on, the words, the communication, showing your story, but what you're not seeing is that not only people love your offers and your services, but they also want the way of thinking and the lifestyle that the brands promote. So I think this could be a very interesting thing to journal on for your marketing. Think like not just about the service, but more like what does the brand stand for in terms of, yeah, again, lifestyle and life values. I think there is something about that you could maybe, journal a little bit more on, or even ask your audience as well. Not directly, but I mean, like, if you know people that buy from you, you can also ask them, um, if this is something that speaks to them as well, like the more general way of thinking and lifestyle beyond the brand. But yeah, again, there is something very uplifting about it, and very like it's like almost a tool to get to the next level. So and you're doing it in such a, healing, nurturing way that yeah, people are really drawn to the brand. And this is also, I think, a result of your own personal development, your own story, like, your own, I want to say, inner work, not in a heavy way, but just, again, with the rose quartz, I feel like you connecting back to yourself, like returning home to yourself, to what makes you happy. It has been also infused in the brand, and it makes it memorable. So yeah, it's a really beautiful energy. Let's see what we have as a final message. The champion. Wow. Okay. Here we have an eagle. Yep. So you inspire people a lot with your brand, and there is something about soaring, of like elevating and overcoming obstacles. Like there's something I was saying uplifting about the brand, and you're doing in a humble way as well. And this is what makes the brand so powerful as well. It's because it's not necessarily loud, but it's honest, it's genuine, and people really feel connected to it. So this is your confirmation that you inspire people, and it makes the brand memorable as well. The way you say things, um, your way of thinking on life, on entrepreneurship, maybe. Um, yeah, there's something. Yeah, I feel like home is the word that I keep on like sensing, this comforting feeling of feeling seen, feeling safe, but also feeling uplifted, you know? So I think the community maybe that you have, or that you will have in the future, will be a very loyal audience as well. Okay, so this is what I have for your intuitive reading. I hope it helped you, see Why is your brand so memorable? It's a really beautiful energy. You can be really proud of what you build or what you're building in your business. I wish you a lot of success, sending you lots of love, and I see you very soon in another intuitive reading. Welcome, group 2. If you have chosen the amethyst for your crystal today, today's topic is all about what makes your brand memorable. You know, what people love about your brand, about your services, your offers. So this is meant to be a very, energizing, motivating, and kind of like uplifting reading. So we're gonna see what comes up. As usual, this is a card I use for final messages. We have a card that jumped out, but I don't like to see the cards before the reading. I'm just gonna keep in mind what I saw. So let's ask first, as usual, what is the overall energy of your brand? What makes it memorable? And then, this one. And then some guidance on how to use that energy for your strategy later. So I'm also gonna let in this deck. What is the overall? I think those two. The overall energy of what makes it memorable, and then we're gonna see if we have any guidance. Okay, let's see. Just trust. We have amethyst. First of all, you're very connected to your intuition. I think already in your business strategy, you already follow a lot, your intuition, your gut. And with this just trust, I feel like the energy of the business also goes in that same way, in the sense that it's helping people. I'm getting this energy of pushing boundaries, overcoming fears, and like kind of trusting themselves despite, the unknown. So I don't know if you're doing a product base or service base, but I feel there is something about, you know, helping people trust themselves more. I'm getting more, honestly, the service-based business, although it could apply to a product, but yeah, it could apply to a product as well. But this kind of, I'm getting a bold energy of, you infuse a lot of confidence in the way you market things. Like you push people out of their comfort zone, and it makes it memorable because somehow you do it in a way that, it helps them out of their comfort zone. It's kind of like you challenge them a little bit, but from a very smart and, I would say, kind of like very smart way of doing it. Like you don't just push people and then see who reacts, but there's something smart about the way you provoke maybe questions, or the way you kind of push them to overcome their own challenges. I'm getting this energy of the brand is memorable because somehow it's kind of like, their own personal coach in some way, but in a way that feels good, not just to uh, push people and be aggressive. But there's a very positive thing about the way you help people kind of, you make them want to be more confident, more, even more leaning into what we call, the dark feminine. Like there is something about the brand that feels like, oh, I want to become that person. Let's see what else we have. Ritual and ceremony, new spirit guides, tree wisdom. I'm getting with this ritual and ceremony, it's like you provide kind of a new sense of identity that they can kind of use as a ritual in some way, like in it's like a baseline, you provide um a new identity of this powerful, confident woman that achieve things, and somehow it becomes kind of the example, and to follow. And maybe you could have a product or a business, but it has to do with something that also is woven into women's like daily lives. It could be um I don't know, a watch or shoes or something that they're gonna put on, and then enter this identity of this powerful, confident woman. Or if you have a service, a coaching thing, it's like you enter their lives, and you somehow start to be part of their daily routine in a way. And yes, it's like you give, like, I'm also getting the word standards. It's like you help women raise their standards and provide them with a base to do it in a way that feels good for them. And it makes them trust themselves way more, and going out of their comfort zones, and expand, and lean into their own wisdom. And with the spirit guide, I feel it's just just the energy of you as a kind of like role model as well for them. Let's see what else we have as a guidance, because it's really interesting. Prayer answered. Wow. Yeah, there's something about you being the example that women aspire to. And I was getting really like, this, your brand pushes women to become their best versions in some way, like kind of specifically. Um, whether it's because you work on a theme that is very important to them, or because your product makes them feel in some way, it's like it helps them become their own, prayer, in the sense like, oh, I wish I could be that person and embody that identity and do all these things in my life. And it's like your brand comes, and it's like, okay, this is the way you're gonna do it. And there's a mirror energy. It's like you give with the buffalo the energy of confidence and motivation that they need. um Getting this motivation part really strongly. You don't need to be a motivation speaker, but there's something really memorable about how you make a woman feel. And I think it has to do a lot, if the pile is going to be for you, if you're going to resonate, it has to do with, in some way, pushing them out of their comfort zone. It could be challenging their limiting beliefs as well. But yeah, there is something about uh, you make them really feel confident in a way or another, and it makes it memorable because it helps them trust themselves in a way that feels good. And it's like it gives them an example, a model, a baseline of standards that they want to follow as well. Very interesting. Let's see what else we have. Show yourself. I'm getting that this card is like a confirmation of like you showing like who you have become. This is what is healing. Like this is what it makes them want to be in some way or another like you, or at least they agree with what you have overcome. And I think your audience is like you, in the sense that they don't settle for less, or they don't settle for just the minimum. They Since the beginning, I'm getting a very ambition, in a very positive way, like energy. And I feel this is what makes the brand memorable. It's because you help them get there in some way. you help them become this confident version, you help them trust themselves, and you kind of, I don't know how exactly because I don't know your business, but it's again woven into their daily lives, and it helps them also change their habits, maybe their mindset habits or things like that. But you're really an example, and this is why the guidance is just keep on showing more of you, of how you navigated certain things, explaining, uh like sharing your wisdom on certain things, because this is what really makes it memorable. Yeah, it's beautiful, like motivation, energy, and yeah, it makes people kind of want to be in your circle as well. It's amazing. So let's see what we have as a final message. The Rogue. Wow. So this card is all about transmuting difficult things, facing fears, and you know, alchemizing like things that couldn't can be painful. And I think this is what you also have gone personally, but this is what the business is doing. It's like you push them, and it just makes them expand in the best possible way. And with the intuition here, I don't think you do it in a way that it's too much for them, but it's more like this is what people need from you. They need someone that challenges their beliefs, that helps them see what's possible. This is something they want, so this is also guidance. Just keep doing. Don't wonder if you're you know sometimes sharing too much, or um you know if you're too bold in your communication. I think this is what makes the brand memorable. So you help women trust themselves more, or people in general, and you're kind of like the example, and your own personal story is also your wisdom, with tree wisdom, the intuition, the rogue. So yeah, it's a very very attractive brand for people that want to change their life. And um yeah, I would say like this is one of your greatest assets, is this capacity to help people transmute things, and showing themselves their own potential, um, through sharing your story, doing in a vulnerable way, and being a role model, helping them raise their standards. So yeah, it's really beautiful. This is what I have for your intuitive reading. I hope it was helpful. I really hope it was resonated. Let me know in the comments if you feel called to just know what you're doing in your business. If you have a product or a service-based business, I'm really curious to know. I wish you a lot of success in your business, sending you lots of love, and I see you very soon in another intuitive reading. Welcome, Group 3. If you have chosen the carnelian for today's reading, it's a beautiful, big carnelian heart. Makes me think a lot of the sacral chakra. So today's topic is going to be about what makes your brand memorable and magnetic, and help you see anything that you can use for your business strategy, the strength, anything that you can use to reach even more people. So we're gonna dive in. I'm just getting this energy of bigness with the group. So I think your brand really stands out. I'm getting something about the aesthetics as well. Like there's something that stands out, that it's kind of beautiful about it. Kind of attractive as well. I don't know. Let's see what comes up. So let's start as usual. Let's see the overall energy. So what makes the brand memorable? Any guidance? Also, I'm gonna confirm this deck. What makes the brand memorable? And what is this one? The guidance. Yeah, an energy of bigness. So let's see what we have. No expectations. Hmm. This card is obviously usually about, not leaning too much and have expectations and things like that. But what I'm getting with this card is like your brand in some way, it's something that people don't expect, in the sense that it's kind of surprising your approach to things. Like, it's not standard and common, either topics that you tackle, the marketing that you use. Like, there's something different about your business that makes it memorable. So it's kind of something that people wouldn't expect in some way or another. And again, this is a very positive thing. It's not like they think it's going to be something and then they're disappointing. But there's something about the way you say things or the topics you tackle that are kind of unexpected. Um, or maybe you merge different things in your business that didn't necessarily have, anything to do with, or I don't know why I'm getting this example of, a business that would make, beautiful cakes, but also using flowers to decorate, like, mixing two things that people wouldn't expect, but it ends up being beautiful. Or maybe you're a coach or you have a service-based business, but, instead of having a sales page, you have a video to explain your offers, things like that. Like, it's something that stands out because you're not following tradition. I think that's the message of your reading. I'm getting it very strongly. Like, you don't follow traditional either marketing or trends, or not trends, but you don't follow the traditional way of doing business, or you don't follow the tradition of what people speak of, like the themes. Like, there's something unexpected about the way you do things, and it makes the brand memorable. So this is really cool. And with the carnelian, it's like it stands out because it's different, and in the best way. It's kind of playful, not in the sense that it's not serious or anything, but it's like, okay, wow, I didn't think about mixing those topics, or I didn't think about marketing things in that way. So it's not, just to clarify, it's not that you're an extroverted, person with a very completely eclectic or eccentric marketing. I don't know what's the right word, but it's more, if this pile is going to resonate, you don't follow tradition in some way or another, and this is your strength. This is what makes your brand memorable. So let's see what else we have. Sacred space. Wow. Yeah, there is something also as with the carnelian, like, it's your brand also makes people lean more into joy. It's like what you do also helps them tend to their own, inner beauty, inner world in some way. And it makes it memorable because you kind of, yeah, you kind of help them reconnect with the sense of joy as well, I feel, or with something, it's very sacral chakra. So anything that has to do with creation, creativity, I'm getting also freedom of lifestyle. But anything that brings people joy, like when you ask a child, like, what do you want to do in life, or what is your dream? I'm getting that the brand also carries this energy. So if you want to look into it, I released a podcast episode recently about the chakras and the business, and obviously we tackle as well the sacral chakra. But I would also even invite you to obviously listen to the episode if you feel called to, but also to research a little bit more about the sacral chakra. And I don't know, I'm getting that things are going to come up for your business that you wouldn't expect again. But yeah, there's something, okay, we said it, you don't follow tradition in the way you do things, but you also, it's memorable because it makes them connect with their own creation power, their own inner fire. It's like when people are kind of disconnected from life and they just run on autopilot, and your brain is like making a stop and then making them see how they can reconnect with the sense of excitement with life, of beauty, of joy, of sweetness, and you do it in a way that is not expected, so it's kind of it stands out. Let's see what else we have as a guidance. Metamorphosis. Wow, this card goes along so well. It's like, I feel your brand has to do with coming back to what makes people alive, feel alive and happy, and I feel like this is what people want to become as well, and your brand is helping them. So yeah, there's something about through your brand, or let's say because of your brand, there is also something about coming back to their own inner power. um it's kind of like making people evolve in the best way. And I'm getting really strongly the connection with joy. Or even it could be, with the metamorphosis, it could be even that your business, because it's so focused on what's giving joy, it also helps them align with their own purpose and become, the butterfly, in the sense that they navigate things and then they're like, okay, this is what I want to do in life. This is what would make me feel aligned, from an emotional place. It's kind of like mind, body, and, spiritual self as well. Um, I'm also getting authenticity. So I would say, to just to summarize, like, one, the brand is not following tradition, which is your greatest strength. I'm really getting that this is your biggest strength. You don't follow tradition, either in the way you do things or what you're talking about. And it, in some way or another, it makes people connect with their joy, with excitement, with feeling alive. And it makes them want to go back to that. And it also helps them align with their purpose, become the person that they want to become, having this courage to, kind of follow their joy more. Let's see what else we have as a guidance. Make a wish. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so it's really about making people see what's possible as well. Like, I'm really getting alignment. So your business and your brand is memorable because what you say and the way you say it pushes women to, I say woman, but it could be people, but it's just because this is for entrepreneurs. Maybe you have businesses for women, maybe you don't. So let's say people. It helps people reconnect with their sense of joy, and it helps them align. So it helps them in some way make this kind of dream lifestyle come to life as well. But maybe it has to do less with the lifestyle and more about, their own personal transformation as well with the butterfly. So it's more like you help them become the person that, they they want it to become like aligned with their purpose, connected to the sense of beauty and the everyday, more present. I'm getting the word presence really strongly as well. With the Make a Wish, it's like, uplifting as well, and in a way that feels effortless as well. So I'm really curious to know what you do. But yeah, it stands out. It stands out definitely. And it helps them connect with their joy in one way or another. And it's like, when we talk about the inner child, I'm getting a bit this energy, of like um going back to your purpose or what really made you happy, and then like doing that. Oh yeah. So let's see, what is the final closing message that we have? Storyteller. Yeah, I'm getting that you also help people tell a different story. It's like rewriting a new chapter, where now, I mean, from now on, what is leading their life is more joy, more purpose, more alignment. Things are true to them. Your brand makes people tell this new story about their life and themselves. It could be also that it's helping them rewrite stories of the past, but I'm getting more the future energy. It's like an own inner story that is more light, more peaceful, more joyful, more excitement, like yeah, it's like a new chapter. Maybe when people come to your brand, they're ready to switch to the next chapter of their lives. Like they're kind of ready for the transformation already. It's just that they're looking for some, guidance or help, but they're like already in this process of transforming their lives to do something that is more true to them, or to invite joy more in their life. And it's like you come in and then you help them make this switch. Really nice energy. But again, I'm getting it's a very powerful thing what you're doing in the business. Like you you picked the right either topic or tone. It's like don't change anything in the way you talk about it or you market it, because it's this is your biggest strength. It's not following traditions, or it also could be that your brand is transmitting this energy as well as not following tradition, and or confronting limiting beliefs, or leaning into more freedom, you know the kind of energy of like saying yes, it's possible, despite what people think. I'm getting this energy as well. So very beautiful. Let me know how it resonated. Again, let me know what you're doing in your business if you want to share. And I wish you a lot of success in your business, sending you lots of love, and I see you very soon in another intuitive reading.